So this is an instructional video about developing a student nurse timeline portfolio. So this is a portfolio that would be used for year 4 nursing students, and they would be asked to create a timeline that highlights their 4 years of nursing experience. So this timeline would be documented on MyHistro. So they would begin with year 1, and they would document the year and location of their clinical placement. So that could be in a hospital or a community agency. So that may be St. Michael's Hospital or the Colleges of Nurses. So we would ask that they include a link to the hospital and community agency. So the students would include a short summary about the nursing theorist that the hospital agency practices under. So for example, St. Michael's Hospital, their nursing theorist is Patricia Benner. Some hospitals don't have a nursing theorist, so the student can opt to um, write a short summary about a nursing theorist that does influence their own practice. So then for each year on the timeline, the nursing student is going to include a video illustrating an area of focus for that year. So in year 1, the nursing students are learning about anatomy and physiology. So the student may want to include an educational video, either something that they develop themselves so they can be as creative as they want, um, and use other meaningful tools, upload it to YouTube, and then have the link created onto the timeline of MyHistro. Or they can find an educational video on YouTube and add that link to the MyHistro timeline. So that would begin with year 1, and there would be an expectation that they would do that for year 2, 3, and 4. Um, so students would also include evidence of their best work in each year. So they may have done a poster presentation in year 3. So they can take a picture of the poster presentation, or they can do a voiceover on YouTube talking about their research that they did on their poster presentation and upload that onto their timeline. So the timeline is going to have many events. It'll be one story with many events documenting the nurse's course from year 1 to year 4. So what's great about this is that the timeline can be shared with other year 4 nursing students. So there won't be any co-authors because only one student will be adding information to the timeline, but their classmates can access their timelines and look at the hospitals that they've gone to, um, refresh themselves with some of the educational videos. So this would be a great review in preparation for the Canadian RN examination. And then also the nurses, they go to different hospitals, so they can get a sense of the type of hospital that they may want to begin their nursing practice with by visiting each student's timeline. So if we were to go to MyHistro, you would go to, just like we've done in previous videos, go to create a new event. Oops, I'm sorry, you won't do that first. You could, but you don't have to. You can actually go to stories. So you can go to create an event and start that way by starting with year 1, year 2, year 3, creating events that way, and then adding it to a story. But we'll start with the story, and we will create a new story, and I'm just going to call it Michelle's Portfolio. And then you can say year 1. There are not going to be any co-authors because nobody else will be adding the content except for one particular student. But once they've shared this timeline with their classmates can make comments about the educational videos they posted. They can ask questions about their experiences at certain hospitals. Right here is a good option to add a picture of yourself. And then the next step would be to start the events. So now this is where you're going to have events. So you'll have a minimum of 4 events because you're going to have a year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 event. But you'll probably have extra stuff because in year 1 you've done a lot. In year 1, one of the events that you create is going to be the hospital that the student attended. So year 1, they may say St. Michael's Hospital. So the student may write some information about St. Michael's here. They can add a photo of St. Michael's Hospital. Right here, they would do a map, a Google map of where St. Michael's Hospital is. In Toronto, and search. We will just zoom in a little bit. Oops, wrong way. So we can actually see the hospital. Be a little picky here. And then they can change the way it looks if they wanted to. You can have satellite view, hybrid view, terrain, or you just can stick with map. And then they can add it. So one of the requirements is that they add a video. So they can go to YouTube. Most hospitals have their videos about the hospital, and copy the link, add it here. This is a learn event, so we'll change our event type to learning. So you'll have a nice video of the hospital. You'll have some information here about St. Michael's Hospital, and the other requirements that the teachers have asked. You can add a photo here of St. Michael's, change the date to the date that you attended St. Michael's, and that would be one event. So you would continue this same process for all the 4 years, adding in dates of when you've completed your best work, making sure that you indicate the years of the other clinical placements that you've done. And that's it. And remember to save it. Save your event, or all your hard work is gone. So all the events would come up under events. And then that's it for this instructional video.